and particles. Like they want to depict these things as being spherical when it's just like what they're trying to create an image in your mind of a sphere is most of it is um, referring to like the field energy, right? The field energy is spherical, like it's the field energy around it. It's not. So if we think of how light behaves too, that it's not really a particle that's moving. It's instances of interactions that are moving according to the medium. So it's all about the medium and how the medium renders and how the medium moves. The fields within the medium, right? These fields, they're in these. So it would make sense that they would sometime render to our vision, which is also in this 360 degree, you know.
Yeah,
But it, anyway, it reminds me of that. It reminds me of the same misrepresentation of atoms and
of course. That's An atom is an abstract concept, and I was arguing this again when I was like 14. I go, you're giving me this this ball with another ball wrapped around it. I go, but you can't prove it. I go, it's just an abstract concept of meant to be a visual aid, but it actually disables you, which implants, a mode of thought process in you, and you can't prove it. You cannot prove an atom; it doesn't exist. You cannot prove an electron or a meson or any son, whatever. It's just what's it called? It's their way of thinking or their philosophy on the way things work. It's philosophy, and
the
they
more
like,
the more I understand it, it seems like it's more like different states of energy to me. It's just different states of energy. You change the environment a little bit, or input or increase the intensity of the energy, and it will become something else. It will change its state, right? Like states of matter. You have liquid, and it's like energy. It's the same way, and we just interpret it as either an electron or a photon or whatever. Like just different states of energy so far until I come across some information that makes me go in a different direction with it.
I'd go with the wavelength. That's why it's the best uh, description that I can find. I don't find little bits plop plop plop. It's like so the sun is constant. That's a constant vibration. Now that might fluctuate up or down or little zigzags or whatever in between, but it's a constant. So energy can just, it won't die out. It will transform or transmute into another state of being. The only thing that is guaranteed on this plane of existence and in forms of energy is change. That's the only thing we're guaranteed. That's just a fact. You so-called get
Exactly.
older or get wiser or get dumber, whatever. But does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. Change is the only thing that's guaranteed for sure. But but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you guys on this needing to get deeper, which is I mean maybe I think I've given it to Iggs already. I don't know if I did or not, but we give it to you too, Shines, if you want. I don't know what else to call it. It's a role. It's just a role to make it pingable, so that when we do lectures or
Please
watch,
definitely ping. Well, I want to be here for the lectures. I definitely want to. That's what I'm here for. I want to learn. Please give me the role.
Gimme.
for a little while, but then the sympathetic vibratory physics, man, that just caught me. That just so derailed me inside. It didn't derail me. Let me say it better because it more puts me more on track than derailing. I'll have to give it to you tomorrow. I don't have my mouse with me, and I cannot operate this tracking pad. I hate this thing. If I try to do it now, I'll have all kinds of stuff going on that I don't want going on. So Anyway, I'll give it to you. But oh yeah, the vibratory physics. When we got into the vibratory physics, I was like, man, this right here is the answer to everything. Like this should have been number one on any in any science book, in any understanding of any science. This should have been number one. Like you know how you take courses.
sorry, sister.
Like one, that's your first one, and then now you can learn all this other stuff. No, the vibratory physics should have been number one in any science class before you try to learn anything.
Yep. I did engineering. You know what it says in the book? This is just for all the dummies that did engineering. It says, the metal it's there, but it's not there. It's vibrating, so be careful when you cut things and blah, 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 blah. And I'm reading it. I mean, you know, I studied Hermeticism and I did the trivium, the quadrivium. And to read it, to have like 2 sentences on that in a engineering book made me laugh. To me, it was hilarious. Like, how do you keep on reading that book and not answer that question? Like, what do you mean the metal is vibrating? Nah, it's just a piece of
And just like
material.
blow over it. Yeah, just let it, just blow
Yeah,
past it. Don't even give
yeah,
it another
no, you
thought.
just don't even ask a question. Just keep on going, keep on reading. But it tells you the metal is vibrating. No, but it's there. It can't just be shaking on its own accord. But you keep on going. Then you get to the bit where it tells you how to, like, I need to find the book. I need to take some photos. You'll laugh. And it tells you, like, when you're putting up the beams and blah 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 blah, and it's like formula for gravity. It's in red, which means it's not there. But then they even put it in brackets and tell you this does not apply to anything. Do not apply this equation.
Yeah, I know. It reminds me of like in particle physics, like when I was because I didn't know jack shit about particle physics. I never took that in school. So when I was learning about particle physics, right in the very beginning, it tells you about the 4 different forces. It said there's gravity, there's the weak force, there's the strong force. That's the last thing you'll hear ever about gravity. When they tell you about it in the beginning of particle physics, they'll tell you about the 4 different forces. They'll tell you what they are. They list gravity as one of them, and then you never hear another thing about it. And I'm thinking to myself, do these people not like? Do they not ask like where? Okay, where is the effect of gravity? It's like where is this? Where is this even relevant? It's not anywhere. So I don't know.
Yeah,
It reminds me of that same difference,
not
same thing.
100%, but this is explicit. Like, it's explicit. It tells you this thing here is irrelevant. You do not apply it to anything. It actually
Yeah, that's
says it, like,
crazy.
it's written in words, and I'm like, how do you just keep on again?
How do
Like,
you
how do you
rectify
just?
that? Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. How do you just?
you just log it.
Okay, cool.
It's what they do. They log it down as some uh one of those things that they're just not smart enough to understand. They can't understand it. They've got it figured out. They say we don't have to account for it, so we just don't account for it. I understand why
If you don't,
I don't, so I just have to appeal to what they tell me.
yeah,
Believe in
it's
have
funny
faith.
though. It's like you don't have to account for it. So if I don't have to account for it, why have you written it down? It's like a silent letter. Like, if it's silent, why have you written it down if I don't have to enunciate it? Because you look at a word and you've got how it's spelled, and then you'll tell you how it's pronounced. I'm like, oh fuck, it used to irritate me. I'm like, English is just a fucked up language. How do you have like you know, a silent letter? Like, why put it if it's silent? If it's not making a sound, it, fuck it. It doesn't need to be there.
What's its purpose? What's its purpose? To cause
Yeah, what's the
confusion? Yeah.
purpose? Yeah. Oh god. Oh, it's good to have some great people on here, man. This is what I miss. That's why I dropped off that other place. I couldn't. Just some people were just too much, and people. It was just like like what used to irritate me was people couldn't form their own sentences to have an argument, to make something clear. Like you had to go like by somebody, I don't know, whoever was writing how to ask a question. I'm like, so most of the people here don't even know how to ask a question, and when there's a retort, they don't know how to answer it. I'm like, so we have another group of believers all of a sudden. How like you became a little cult following, like my book says that the earth is flat, and my book never let me down. And I'm like, what the fuck? My book never let me down, and this is the word. And I'm like, no, dude, if anything didn't let you down, it was yourself. It's the way that you saw things. A book is a book. It's just dead words on paper, like symbols, signs and symbols, sigils, whatever you want to call them. My book. I'm like, all right, giddy up. My pappy said, my pappy. Fuck your pappy, boy. Anyway, sorry. Oh, gosh. Sorry about that. I apologize. Sometimes I do that. Did you miss me, Truth, doing that? God help me.
I enjoyed it.
Oh, bro. You've hit me. I've wigged out on you, bro, but that's out of love. Me and you have spoken on the phone. You're a great guy, bro. But you've heard me on there. It's heard me the most, but you've heard me to where I've like gone against them, and it just does my head in, bro. I'm just like, dude. For some reason, have you realised? For some reason, us as Australians we get viewed as less of a people in the English-speaking world.
I think we
Have you realised that?
I think that might be accurate.
I'm serious. I'm dead serious on this point. For some reason, I don't know why it is.
I think so.
It's like somebody with an English accent comes on. It's like, oh yeah, how are you?
This person must be
The
smart.
American comes in. Yeah, it must be smart. Then the American comes in. Not all Americans. Everybody. I'm not having to dig at all Americans, but some degenerates and some zealots come in. You're like with that confidence. I'm American. I'm American, and you and we
Something to be proud about. I mean, come on, really.
I'm not having to dig at you personally or the good people. I'm just saying there's bad people everywhere. But when an Australian comes on, it's kind of different. I don't know. I'm just saying. My thoughts anyway.
To be proud of, in my opinion. I'm sorry, but I need to. Like, it depends on what you. Okay, what do you see as defined as being American? As it depends on what you define that as, I guess. Whether or not it's something to be proud of, but you feel me, right? It's like
I define anyone from Venezuela to be an American, anyone from Brazil to be an American, anyone from Mexico to be an American. Because technically they are an American.
Yeah, that's the whole continent. But I'm just saying there's a specific kind of fuckwit. It's not Americans in general. It's a specific kind of fuckwit. Do you know what I'm getting at? Do you feel me? It's a specific kind of deranged person. And I listen, truth, I speak to you. I think you're great. And you're American. So's Josh. So's Battlemon. I don't have anything against you.
I'm American. Say it again.
I'm American. You have to leave out the A. American. American.
You actually sound American.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
American.
Not a bad accent, huh? I'm American. Yeah. But I love people from there because the whole point of the United States of America was to set people free from popery and kings and stuff.
Yeah, it's the illusion if you can't find the freedom, and you at least want the illusion of it, come to America. It's great for
Well,
that.
you know, it says, the land of dreams, and you have to be asleep to be dreaming. So, where dreams
That's
come true.
a George Carlin bit, isn't it?
Correct.
But at least, man, those few sentences actually set people's minds free. Believe it or not, yeah, like every man is equal and endowed by his creator with inalienable rights. That's it. That is your, if you want to call it a Bible, that's your Bible right there. Bang. Bam. American. My pappy said, bam. That's it. You're off. What else do you need to know, man? And that's what I love about it. Like, man, me and Buttermore were speaking about, law and stuff, and I go, why are all these people arguing about their votes? Um, da 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 da. Miscounting and da 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 da. I go, you don't have a say in who goes into the White House. It's Article 2, Section 1. It says the states choose who goes there. After you choose the people who go to the states, then the elected officials select a person from. They select amongst themselves a representative to go there. And it's right there. It's like in 2 sentences. And when people used to get pissed off at me in the 24/7 when I told them they can't read or write, this is what it is. But it doesn't matter. But the whole point is there's those people who did that thing because from what I've learnt in history, this sort of happens in cycles. It's like a sine wave. So, they try to get a grip on people and tighten the screws, and then there's always a bunch of people who try to let those screws go, and let people be freer. There always is. And in our immediate time, those were the people that, the spirit of that thing was good, I would say. Even though people might be still sleeping and dreaming, but there's people who are awake. I've ranted enough.
John, you probably gave yourself the row. I didn't even think about that. But Dawn,
I did. I gave
Dawn,
myself the roll because I was waiting for it. And I was like, she didn't give it to me. I was going to search for it. I saw what you had, and I was like, I'm going to give it to myself. I did.
Yeah, I didn't even. Well, that's what I was wondering. I didn't even mention which role it was. I
No,
didn't
but I saw
think,
what
but
you
then I
had.
figured.
Yeah, because I was smart, and
Yeah.
I was like, what does she have? Okay, that's the one that I need. That's why I gave it to myself.
What does she have that I don't have? Give me.
That's exactly it. What does she have that I don't have? Well, I didn't give myself co-owner. I didn't go that far, but I was like, she has study hall, and study hall sounds like what she was talking about. I wasn't an asshole or anything. Could have done
No, I'm just
That's the
joking.
only thing.
I know.
That's the only thing I could think of to call it. I didn't know what else role to call
No,
it. Like video, like
Yeah.
student, like teacher. Fuck, I don't know. There you
No,
go.
I love it.
Study hall.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Don wants it or not. If he does, you can give it to him. He can tell you, I guess. Or B. Carl's anyone that's in here anyway. But yeah, I think that's the key. Is okay. So if we understand the fields and how the fields work, I think that's where all the answers are: vibrational physics, and understanding the different fields. I don't want to call it field theory, but kind of sort of along that lines.
Oh yeah, if you look at there's, I brought this up ages ago, but they've got the, it depends how you pronounce it, the Carillion or Cyrillian camera, invented in 1913, that can take photographs of the auric field. Like, come on. over 100
yeah.
years ago.
You kidding me? See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it was in the 1913, and that's when they put it out in the public. But we're probably a couple of 100 years behind the technology that the other people have, what they give us.
How
But
do you
in
spell it?
1913, it would be. Oh shit! It's in the English. C. Wait a second. I need to write it down. Hold on 1 second. Sorry. Oof, boy. 1 second.
Because that, to me, is that's so interesting that they were able to. Like,
Okay, so it's
yeah, this
CY.
CY.
CYRI double LIAN and then camera. Usually should be spelled K, but anyway, that English is funny. Yeah, it was invented in 1913. That's why, like you see every baby when they're born, yeah, you hold its head and it looks like it's looking everywhere else, but you're going like goo goo ga 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 ga, but it's looking at your actual aura or whatever else is around you. Because
the baby.
The baby, yeah, because there's no
I believe
skull.
that.
Yeah, there's no skull form there. It's got extra sensory stuff, and it's always looking everywhere else except in your eyes. You're like, oh look, he can't hold its head still. Nah, he's looking at God knows what.
Yeah, and I believe that. I do. It makes you want to try to think back and remember what you saw when you was a baby.
Oh yeah. Contemplated that one.
Yeah, I think we
I
pick up on
probably.
other things through like other senses other than just sight. Probably pick up on feelings, all kinds of stuff.
I remember the first time I think I tried to be a scientist is when I took my mum's what are they called? You put them in your hair to clip your hair in, but they're made of metal. I just put them in the electrical socket. Yeah, I decided to
Or
put them in the
bobby
electrical.
pins.
Yeah, bobby pins. That's it, bro. Yeah. So I took them and I put them in the electrical socket, and I was Superman for a minute. I went from one side of the room to the other. Yep. So Superman is real.
my
Just stick the bobby pins in the electrical socket.
My experience with electricity was totally different. It's like they had to. It grabbed a hold of me and held me there. It wasn't going to let me go anywhere.
Okay, so you were attached to it. I wasn't.
Yeah, I was
Boom.
about 2 years old. My
Same
aunt had
here.
to take a broomstick and she took a broom handle, and finally, when she broke it, she said it took her a minute. She didn't know if she was going. She didn't think she was going to at first to be able to break the grip that it had on me. But when she finally did, it took so much force for her to break it with the broomstick that she slung me across the room. And she said I slammed up against the wall. And she said it's like in the movies. She goes, I just went flying across the room when it finally broke.
Yeah, it's people just take it sort of for granted. Like we are electrical beings. Like if somebody dies, what happens? You bring out the paddle sticks and that's not normal. You don't go up to a person and get the paddle sticks to a living being and go, "Hey, listen, mate, come here." You know, how funny would that be?
If you watch the Del Pond video and you look into the sympathetic vibratory physics aspect of everything, then you will understand that none of us are actually like physically a solid object. None of us are. We are all just different instances of interactions that are being held together by vibrational harmony. right?
Yep.
There's like a harmony within the vibration of the different instances of interactions, and that's when you like to even wrap your mind around that. It's still I'm still working on it, but
I think you're on the right
that
track.
will
Like
blow.
I was. Go ahead. My bad.
No, I think there's a bit of a lag. I know there's a little bit of a lag with me, so go ahead.
I was going to say, I think you're on the right track. I was reading like it was the British Institute for ESP or something in the 1800s, 1880s, where they were doing experiments, and I mean proper experiments, fully controlled experiments, where they could one person like 20 kilometers away could communicate with another person. And I was trying to explain this to, fuck, it's hard when people don't have an open mind. I go, so you have this, just say a phone. You have this material, yeah? That's what a phone is, if you believe in just materialism. This phone, I can speak into this blob of, matter, and now you in America can hear me. Magic. But people just go, yeah, it's the internet. Dude, if a solid object can transmit something, I'm fairly sure the human or the man or woman or the human, whatever you want to call it, has the ability to do that. Just saying,
I mean, come on, the telekinesis stuff is not it's not voodoo. This is real stuff. Um, they look the militaries of the world would not be putting so much focus on the frequencies, the different frequencies of different types of vibrations, right? Of different things. They wouldn't be studying it so hard. There's two things that has been consistent through if you know no matter how far back you look and up to the present of the things that they want to keep under wrap. They don't, they're the biggest gatekeepers of, and they've always been looking into. And this is the minds of men and vibrational physics.
Yep. What's that thing that you guys had in America? They actually tested it here on us in Australia. The military thing with the what's it called? Oh, I forgot the name. Where it just pounds into your frequency and disperses large groups of people. They had a Senate committee hearing.
It's the ADS. It's the active denial system.
Yeah. So they had a Senate hearing here, and they're like, some people have been saying that, you use the blah, 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 blah. And the senator is asking the question, and the policeman's going, oh, yeah, we can talk about it if you give us immunity. I'm like, what do you mean we can talk about it if you give us fucking immunity?
Because otherwise we're getting ready to incriminate ourselves if we speak anymore. That's what they're saying. Yeah.
You can't be testing shit on people and then going, oh fucking, I want immunity. It's like I'll punch somebody in the face. I want immunity, and then I'll, confirm or deny.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying when the conversation comes up about the quote 5G unquote. Like it's the millimeter wavelength, right, where they can dissociate oxygen. They can cause your body put your body in a state to where it can't absorb oxygen. They can cause you pain. They can cause you psychological. There are all kinds of different effects that it causes, and each one of those different effects are at a different intensity level. And they're like, but we're only using this intensity level, which doesn't cause any of those things. It's only for communication, and we're supposed to be okay with that. And people do not wake up, and if you go and you look at where they have these towers, like the amount of intensity of power that they need to run through them for communication is minimal compared to what you should see the wires, like the potential for the intensity that they have, how they've equipped them, the amount of power that they got going to it, regardless of whether they use it or not. This should wake people up. People should be just totally disturbed by that, but they're not. They're okay with it because why? they're okay with it because they're only good. They told us that they're only going to use this amount of intensity. Why would they want to hurt us? Why would they want? Why would they lie to
Yeah,
us?
yeah. Why would they lie? They've never lied before. The government is good, but yeah, it detaches the hemoglobin from the blood. And if you go up to those towers, which I have, it says on the actual those massive towers, it says do not touch and stay like a minimum like 2 meters away from it. It says do not touch it because it can cause blah 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 blah. There's like a massive warning thing around it. Is this and now they're like hiding these like fake trees and shit. It's mate, like hey. Uh,
But I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, when I think about it, I don't get that too bent out of shape over it because it's like we have enough information where we can actually start developing things to protect ourselves, right? And we also know that they don't really need these towers to do this. I mean, hell, they have drones now. It's like really the potential that they have for the technology with the technology that they have. This is why I always go back to this. It's like they don't want to overcome us and overpower us because if they did, they would have already done it. They already have that capability. They could overcome and overpower militarily all beings of the earth right now if they wanted to. But that's not what they want. They want control over the minds of men. There's some power in it. And when you look into the vibratory physics, then you understand that that's why they don't want us to have control over our own mind. They don't want us to have the knowledge of what potential and what power having control over your own mind will render. Because right now they have that power. And if we realize that, then we'll take that power back, and that's what they don't want.
I agree with you 100%. And I've been speaking about that, but but apparently that's Satanism. It's like we're made by God, blah blah blah, but we're all gonna die. We can't do nothing. It's like, all right, that's just fucking oxymoronic. Take that shit elsewhere. I don't know how else to put it.
Well, I mean, he's got his research center that's still active that people can go to right now, and they talk about spoon bending. And when you hear him talk about it, he talks about it as if it's just like, how we'll just go have coffee tomorrow. But these people bend spoons with their mind. So there's a mind energy that is more powerful, more intense, and more infinite than the etheric energy or atomic. At the atomic level, there's different levels, right? When you go inward, and it's more intense. It's infinite. When you get into the infinite energy, it's everything that we perceive as taking up space. By the time it's actually taking up space in our perception, it's already too large of an area that it's covering. It's already not intense enough to be the kind of energy that I'm talking about. Because this is like when you get down into, as you go inward to more of a pinpoint when you fractal inward instead of outward. It's like when you get into the molecular and then the atomic and then or what they call the atomic and then you go into the etheric and then it's after that you reach the mind energy, and it's that energy that we have control of, right? That they cannot reproduce it digitally either, because the kind of the different wavelengths that are present and that are there during in the mind energy and the etheric energy in those higher frequency energy levels have certain specific waves, energy waves that can't be produced digitally, because digitally the best they can do is a square wave, and a square wave cannot reach that high. That's the problem that they're having. They're trying to replicate AI to mimic human nature to the point to where they can replicate this mind energy, because this mind energy is what they're after. This mind energy is what they're after, and this is why they don't overcome us. This is why all their efforts are put towards understanding this energy, understanding how to manipulate it, understanding where it's at, where it's found, what it can do, and to be able to harness it. And the only place that they can find it is in the minds of men.
The mental plane. Have you read the Kabbalion?
What?
Have you read the Kabbalion? It's called the Kabbalion. It's an esoteric book. You should read it. You'll like it.
The Kabbalah?
The Kabbalion.
No,
Kabbalion.
I don't think
You
I don't
should.
think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you should read it. It's a book. It talks about the different states of, the mental plane, all these mental planes and all the rest of it. It talks about vibration and everything. So this book is like 4,000 years old. It used to be a part of the so-called the Bible, but they took it out. But you should read it. You'll like it. It's the same sort of thing, but put in a different way. So
Okay, spell it for me. I'll spell it in the text chat. That's two things I've had to spell. I had to reference back for.
No, that's all right. Let me find. Where's my book? Fuck, I
Start
was
with a
so
K.
books. Yeah, Kabbalion.
Okay.
Kabbalion.
Oh, cool.
I think you'll like it, Truth. Yeah, I think you'll appreciate it. Who's this guy that you're talking about? Can you send me a link to? I wouldn't mind hearing what he's got to say if you think he's good. Because it's hard to find stuff like I've read tons and tons and tons and tons of stuff about it. But if there's, I still, I'm still open to hearing some other
About what?
dudes. Oh, the guy you saying, do you have a YouTube channel or does he have papers to read? Or you were talking about a dude?
Yeah. Will Cyrus shared it with me a while back, and I have been so obsessed with it since, like, I was already into the electricity and trying to understand it because when I learned about counter space in understanding electricity, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This is like where the energy increases, and it there seems to be going theme here. When you go inward and you get into more of a pinpoint, it's like the energy is more intensified and the more expanded you get. And this is another thing that they touch on in this too. But I was so into the electricity. I watched the theory of anti-relativity with Eric Dollard, and then was going to get into the beginning of energy synthesis. I think was the next one I was going to watch, and then he slaps this video on me, and I'm like, dude, now how can I get back to that? This right here should have been first. But anyway, I'll just DM you the video.
Yeah, please. Thank you, sister. I appreciate that.
And I'll tell you, I'll warn you, unless you're like me, which I kind of think that you are in a way. That when you start, if something interests you, you'll listen to. What is that? Oh, anyway, you'll listen to an hour of something that seems really boring before you get to the good stuff, and you won't really turn away that easily. But
yeah, I'll stay up for days if it's good. I'm one of those ones. If I have a book to read,
I mean, because
and it's 2,000 pages,
it's almost 3 hours.
Oh, that's easy. Yeah, that's cool.
It's
I'm one of
almost
those
3 hours
people.
long,
Yeah,
but the first hour is not. I don't know, how is my sound coming through. Well,
I think there might be a little bit of
okay?
delay. Yeah, no, you're coming through. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm my bad. I'm sorry.
Because I've been having issues the past day or two. Every time that I come in, I've been having issues. So
Yeah,
I
it
do
might be
have a
like a
legit
second
delay.
of a. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not no reason for you to be.
I feel bad
Yeah,
because I got respect for you. It's like, I'm cutting you off like a prick.
No, I've learned when I lag like this until I get it fixed. I've learned not to, like, when I do say something, say it all at the same time, or to just go ahead and start. Once I start, don't stop when someone cuts in, because they'll probably realize it and then they'll stop, and then just go ahead and finish saying what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
the
know.
best way. No, right on. Hopefully the person has enough sense to, shut up and just let the person finish their sentence.
Has anyone seen Napalm around lately? Because when I put his name in the search, it doesn't pull him up. Is he not a member of the server anymore?
I've seen him over 24/7, but
Damn.
I was talking with him the other day, and he says he likes it here, and he likes talking to you, Truth. So I don't know why he'd leave.
I love Napalm. I wouldn't think that he would either. I'm thinking there's maybe something up with the spelling of his name, that there's like some symbol or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm not putting it in right.
Maybe.
I'll DM him tomorrow and find out. It's like when I stay away for a while, I don't get on here much. I lose track of what's going on with people, and it's like there's a few of them, like Napalm, I've not seen, not talked to in a while. Iggs, I was glad to hear Iggs back. I'm glad to see all of you. I don't want to just like call out certain people, but these are just, I'm just calling out people that I've not, I don't know what's going on with them. I guess.
Yeah, I disabled Discord and everything because I had enough of the zealotry over in 24/7. I wasn't going to come back at all. But Anthony, the guy, he's on Discord here too, and he's like, "You should come back on." I go, "Listen, man, I can't deal with idiots." I go, "The things that people are talking about now," I go, "I was talking about 20 years ago, man, when I was like 15." So, and I go, "The whole point is to move past it and to get something done." I go, "Not to stagnate." I go, "It's to help each other out." I go, "We're not doing anything. All we're doing is, I know the truth, this book, and that's, the end of things." And then he was trying to get me to, come to whatever, like another channel. I'm like, "Nah, man, I can't do it again." I'll go because I've done like talks and lectures in front of people and stuff, and I go, just people take the information, twist it, try to sell it. I go, it's absolute nonsense. But then Battlema told him to tell me to come on here because he was going to use his channel, and I'm like, all right, if he's going to be on here, I'll come on because I get on with Battlema great, and he was one of the people when I got called the Satanist and all this other stuff when I bring up points that somebody disagrees with, you know, stuck up for me. You stuck up for the truth, not just for me. When you stick up for somebody for something, you don't stick up for them. You stick up for the truth. What do people like to shoot the messenger, man? I don't get it.
It's the principle, yeah. It's the principle that if you're going to stand for something, whatever, you're going to stand for something, whether you choose to, whether you, because not standing for principle is the same as standing for another opposing principle. In my book, anyway, you can't just not stand for anything. If you let some things go in front of you and you don't say anything about it, then you're essentially standing for the principle that is opposing the principle that you know what I mean? It's like people create this false dichotomy in their heads and this fantasy world that they live in. They can just let things go and not stand and not be one to speak up for it or stand for it. And then just only when it affects them. But what they're not realizing is it's affecting them at that very moment because they are making a decision to allow certain things to overcome certain other things, and when they do, they're essentially making their choice.
100%. It operates on that level that you're talking about, scientific, or you want to call it metaphysical, where if you don't care, and you say, fuck it, it doesn't involve me. Yes, it will involve you. Maybe not at this specific time, but later on it will, and then you will come on and you whinge and cry and sook about it and you'll be a zealot. Why? Because at the time you were selfish and you didn't give a flying fuck about anybody else but your stupid self. And now because it affects you and your butt is hurt and you're bleeding from it, you're going to have a fucking whinge. That's the, that's the crux of it.
Yeah, I've actually spoke out against people before just because of on principle, right? It's like we understood ourselves to be friends, but it was like there, certain things just on principle. Like if they stand on the wrong side of it, then at that point I'm reevaluating my friendship. Like, or was it even really a friendship? Because did I even know
At the
this
start.
person? Yeah, did I
Yep.
even know him? Because it's like I thought that they stood on this side of this principle, and when you find out that they don't, it's kind of
Yeah, well, then you be a hypocrite. Yeah, 100%. Then you end up being a hypocrite to yourself, and that's the worst thing you can I think in life is be a hypocrite. I don't. You get what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, you know what when people talk about the purpose of life, do you know what? This is what conclusion that I've came to lately is that our purpose in life is to become the best, most honest judges of ourselves that we can be, because essentially that's all we can.
I agree with you 100%, and times that by infinity.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how dishonest that they are with themselves.
Speakers, preacher sister, I'm telling you, that is it. Because people will outwardly go, I am, but in their own household or in their own little sanctum sanctorum, they are the biggest bigots, and they do all the shit that they speak up against. It's, how do you have a relationship or communication with a persona like that, with a man like that or a woman like that? You can't. It's fake.
Right, and then there's so even out of all these religious texts of what's written, I don't know what's true and what's not, and I'm not going to be an arbiter of truth either. But the only way the best way, most effective way that I've found to come to it, and I've not really tested it. I don't know how would you test it until you receive all the knowledge in the world, and you can compare what you've accepted to be as truth to what the actual knowledge is. That's the only way you would ever be able to test it all. But I've not found any of it so far to render itself to not be true. But of all the religious texts, the best way that I have found to be able to try to figure out what's true and what's not is to compare them, right? And then if it's written across, like if you've got 10 different texts and in 8 of them, this one thing is written and it's shared amongst all of them, more than likely that thing's going to be true than not, right? And then if you have something that's only found in this one, and it's the very thing that divides this religion from this religion, then most likely it's not true, and it's just put in there for a cultural construct, right, to keep people divided, so that they won't share the knowledge that they do have that's true. This is kind of how I see the world, and with the information. The information and the knowledge that's in it, and I'm just saying, of all of it, one thing that seems to be consistent is that we are going to. I said all that just to say this: that we are going to judge angels. That's one day we will be judging angels. Now, how are we going to become the best judges that we can be if we're not judging ourselves honestly? If we become the best and most honest judge of ourselves, then who will we not be able to?
Well, that's exactly right, because it says in the good book, for man will judge himself. And if you don't know how to read, then that's bad luck. People like to cherry pick and stuff, so that's what it is. If at the end of the day, when you lie, you are only lying to yourself. Doesn't matter
right?
if you lie outwardly or inwardly, you're lying to yourself. So whether I say to you, truth, listen, I've got $1 billion, I'm lying to myself and to you, which is disgraceful and dishonest. It's fucking hilarious. There is no like, oh, I'm just lying to them or I'm just lying to myself. So, no, the lie is the lie. It's everywhere. It's kind of confounded.
You essentially create a very small imaginative world that you exist in, where you exist in my mind, in my reality. You have a world where you exist, where you possess $1 million, you know, and even though it's not relevant to the, you know, to your actual reality, you've created a reality in my mind where that is true, right? And
Yep.
it's like this is kind of how we have to think about these lies that they tell, these lies that they propagate. You know what is their purpose? What is the purpose of the lie? Do they want us to just believe? No, it's back to the mind energy. It's back to the controlling the minds of men for the purpose of harnessing their mind energy. Because just think, if like when Boyd talks about it, when he goes into this and he talks about how like bending spoons and being able to manipulate things with your mind, that he said the easiest way to get people to do that, he said the easiest moments of trying to do that comes when you're not thinking about it. When you're going about it as if it's second nature, the harder you try, the harder it is. So think about it. If they put these lies into the minds of men and they get people believing in these false realities to where it's second nature to them and they're not thinking about it, then they very well could be manifesting some kind of like mind energy power that they're harnessing into, because it would be so easy. I mean, look at all the lies that people believe in. It's like second nature to them. They tell it to their children as if, because they believe it's true.
Yep. 100%. It's how do I put it? It's like, how do you describe this? I ask this question and people wig out. I go, how do you open your hand? You
got to
can't
think
answer
about
it.
it first. You got to think
but
about
you
it
can't even
first.
answer it. You do it. It just comes, as you said, like second nature. You can't tell me like, I concentrate on my brain and then my brain sends, signals to my nerves and blah, 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 blah. You
Yeah.
sound like a moron because it doesn't happen. You do it. You get me?
Well, yeah, electrical. Well, I mean, I think now when I said all that, there was, I don't know if people really understand how important it is that we understand this, because, and this is what gets me when people ask the question, why would they lie? I'm like, if you only knew the reasons they had to lie, you wouldn't even be asking that question. Because then at that point you realize how far back you're in the knowledge you're going to have to go, right, to share certain, and then they're going to have to be able to be open-minded and understand it too, right, before they get it. But you could answer their question for them, but it's going to, like, to answer it properly, like, they're going to have to open their mind to some things and understand that, yeah, because we can tell them all these I call them superficial reasons why they would lie: control, money, power, all this, bullshit. And it is all superficial, because when you get down to the basic fundamentals of it, it comes down to the desire to control the minds of men. For what? For the mind energy, because they can't harness it. They can't replicate it. They can replicate and harness anything else in nature. They cannot replicate that. People really need to understand that this is, and it makes it a spiritual battle. That's what makes it a spiritual battle, because it's.
I agree with you 100%, but people are just want to get stuck reading one text, or have a doctrine, or they stick to one opinion, something that is a lie. You know what? I'll tell you something. When you love something so much, usually it's bullshit. That's from experience, and maybe the biggest truth on earth, because you're forcing something that you want. It's not really love. It's just your abstract view on love or whatever.
Yeah, if people would just realize that nobody really freaking loves them. I'm just playing. I'm joking. No, wouldn't. What, to be honest with yourself and realize that because someone tells you that they love you, they don't mean it? What, you mean they don't mean it? They don't always mean it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so it's kind of like all right, let me think of a good example.
I know, I was just messing with you. I was just bringing.
When you like or love something too much, you know that it's not good for you, but you keep on doing it. It's the
I
wrong
don't
thing.
know about that. Is that right? Is that true? Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that.
I've been down through that. Oh, mate, the biggest transformation I had to do was to empty everything that I know. I mean, full empty. I mean, really empty the cup. And it's the most difficult thing to do ever. And whoever has done it, if you haven't cried and curled up in a fetal position, I don't believe you. Because I'll admit to it, I don't care. I'm telling you, I'm just saying to get rid of everything that you think that you know and say, listen, I don't know. And then to try to receive information. They call it in the esoteric language, the Akashic record, to receive information, which you can, and know truths and how certain things operate. Not like you've been told that don't operate like that, but then you can, wise men like the guy you're talking about, or you read certain books and you're like, listen, this might be true. And everything else I believe might be a load of bullshit. So, yeah. It's a hard thing to let go of stuff. And
Well,
even
how do
the hardest things to let go of is bad shit. Go ahead. Yeah,
well,
go
I
ahead.
don't know. Good
Sorry.
stuff's sometimes hard to let go too. Oh no! Did I just now, like where I started to speak a few minutes ago? Man, if that's the case, that's a big, huge lag. But I mean, I wasn't really going to say anything. I was interjecting what you were saying to add to it. That's all. But
Yeah, kind of cut off, I think.
man, I might have to disconnect and reconnect. See, that's another reason why I've not been in here much, because anytime I try to come in here and I try to have any kind of conversation, so I don't come through with good timing. Let me see if I can disconnect. Am I okay now?
Yeah, I can kind of hear a sort of like a background static thing before you start talking. So I think that's what, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I just need to be standing still. Maybe I'm moving around too much. Sorry.
I'm not sure. No, it's something. I hear it's just a shh sound just before we're about to start talking. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know.
It should be good now. I really think that people need to understand this, though, with all this technology about the different frequencies and how important and how prevalent the vibrational sticks play into this. Like, they really need to understand this, because people, I mean, look, it's hard enough to get people. Now, how in the hell would I ever get people to start looking at this side of science, right? How could I possibly do that? We can't even get people to look at the earth and see, hey, look, it's flat. It's not spherical. I mean, how the hell am I going to get people to start? Because I do think it's that important that I don't even care if they know the Earth is flat, as long as they understand this about their own mind.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've been trying to do that for 10 years and trying to put other things on top of it. So, whether it's law, taking control of things, and then having the time to think about this, help them in all sorts of ways just to get to the point what you're talking about, Truth. But I don't know.
Well, I mean, it
It's
lines
kind of
up
like,
with all the spiritual aspects of it too, like in the religious text that people read that tells them that well, when you gather of you know there'll be what does that mean? What does that really mean? Like, okay, so when you have more than one person, if you have two or more people gathered, then what are you doing? You're amplifying that frequency. And if you have two and we're gathered and something is there in the midst that it's like we're supposed to know that they're in the midst. There our creator is. Like what does that really mean? I mean, do you I mean is it that there is a spirit that is there now that wasn't there before? No. Is it a connection maybe? I would say more so a connection than having something arrive that wasn't there that's there now. I'd say it's more of a connection to it, right? But it's if there were people, if there were enough people who were focused on and thinking about the same thing at the same time, it's like just think of how we could really honor and worship the Creator in a way
well, yeah.
that because that's essentially what they're wanting, right? Okay, so if they could remove the Creator from the minds of men to where they're not even thinking about it, giving the Creator any thought, and instead they're putting these people, whether they realize they're doing it or not, they're making these people their gods, and they're putting them in the front of their minds. They're believing these lies. Like, I mean, after a while, and I mean, it can't just work one way. If it's going to work one way, it has to work both ways because it's the yin and the yang, right? The disharmony that has to be there in order for life to even exist. Because if everything is in harmony, what is it they say that it's still and it's quiet?
Mm-hmm. That would be nirvana. But 100%, these people don't do rituals and go down in a basement and do all these chants and ums for no reason. And the other thing is, you know, just I will direct you just to look at the word spire. You know, people say, I perspire, I'm inspired. Look at it's a Latin word. And what you're talking about, that's what it is. So spire, the coming together of. Like people, fuck it.
What's this law of 400? Enlighten me, Josh.
The moon is about 40% the size of Earth. The moon happens to be exactly 400 times smaller than the sun at 400
Oh,
times, and the sun being 400 times the distance from the Earth
yeah.
than it is from the moon or some shit like that.
Oh, so you've
It
just
don't make
named it
sense.
the law of 400?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know. I didn't know if it was. I didn't know if he was referring to some kind of esoteric, like something with like Manly P. Hall or something, like the 48 Laws of Power. Or I didn't know if this
No,
was is this another one that
I think a good movie to watch for everyone would be Earth, Moonfall.
do you think? That's what I have is Hulu. I was actually looking for a good movie to watch, so
Can you DM me that, please, so I don't forget? Moonfall.
What?
The movie name, please.
Hang on.
Please, sir. Can I have some more? Thank you, sister.
I haven't heard from Cyrus in a bit. I've seen Battlemod in here, and I've talked to him a little bit in DMs, but I haven't really heard from him either. I vaguely heard a little bit from Chris the other day, just a couple words. That's it. It's like I miss you guys when I'm not hanging around listening. So I mean, I appreciate the times when you guys are talking and you're sharing ideas and you're sharing stories or whatever, and I'm just sitting in the room and I'm just listening. It means more to me than what you guys realize it does. I think I'm just sitting in here not saying anything. No, I'm getting my feel of you guys, I guess I could say, when I just sit here and listen. I haven't heard some of you in a while.
Yeah, well, they say, if you don't keep quiet, how are you going to learn anything? That's the most oldest saying that I don't know. Keeping quiet means that you can hear something or learn something. If you're just the whole time.
Yeah. Oh, I know everything. I'm just going to go ahead and just start talking nonstop, and I'm going to teach you all I know because I know it all. That's essentially what those people are saying when they do that.
Yeah, exactly. It's hilarious to me. They don't want to any input. It's just my way or no way. It's not even my way or the highway. It's like my way or no way. It's just how it is. You can't even take the
You can't
highway.
even take the highway, man. It's no way.
Yeah.
You're just stuck there. It's either my way or you're going to stay right where you're at.
Yeah. That's the mentality, and it's like, how do you engage with somebody that doesn't want to engage? Like, you can't. It's there's no friction, there's no static, it's nothing. It's just like whatever dead means to anybody. But yeah, it's like dead. It's just nothing. So nothing's being achieved. No goodness is being done, and it's the propagation of hearsay. I heard this, and I read this, and I interpreted it like this, so it must be like this. Ah, fuck it.
Well, I have no husband, so all of these guys,
nabbit. Sorry.
all of these guys are my husbands. So it's like when I don't hear from them for a while. So I have many husbands.
Yeah, no, it's always good. Like I missed you, Josh Battle Mod. Like it was like, I came on here and I have some intelligent, honest people. Even sometimes, you don't need to agree with them 100%, but they'll, oh, okay, cool, and they'll listen to you, not be, um, uh, condescending to you. And it's like you take that away, and it's kind of, you're missing something. But then that place was just getting toxic. Oh, we're all gonna die, and they're gonna starve us, and they're gonna kill us. I'm like, dude, if they wanted to kill us, they would have done it by now. If they're gonna try to stop, they would have done it. Like, they like their slaves. They like slaves. They want people like you. They want fucktards like you.
They need your mind energy. They need you to allow them to control your mind so that they can operate it for you. When they're essentially doing that with most people. And that's what they want. They want the mind energy. They don't want to overcome you physically. They could already do that if they wanted to.
Correct. Well, it's put in your constitution. The consent of the governed. You have to consent to be governed. I'm telling you, if people knew how to read, just the Declaration of Independence is esoteric enough as it is. Like people don't get the document, for fuck's sake. Found out.
Well, I heard a saying it's called rulers need something to rule over. And that's why they would never kill you. What's the point of being
bro,
ruler
100%.
if you're not going to rule over anything, you know?
Yeah. I say that to people all the time because I was around those people. They go, I don't want to kill anybody. He goes, what use is a dead man to us? He goes, who's going to do all the dumb shit that we don't want to do? He goes, we can't have fun. It's like the immovable mover. That's what they want to be. You know, when you play chess, you get to move the king, the queen, the popes, the bishops. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's like, let's say they kill a Tsar. Are they pulling straws for who wants to be a plumber? Like, you're joking.
Yeah. Well said. Yeah, they're going to fix their own fucking dunnies, their own toilets. Yeah, that's it. You know, up to your elbow in fucking shit. Yeah, that's what they want to be doing. And they're going to have sex with each other to get, like, deformed fucking people. Yeah, that's it. Ugh. As soon as I hear negativity, man, I don't want to be around it. I just don't. And I can't be around it. I can't participate in it. Because to me, that's a wrongdoing. Like, same as in law. Participating in that shit. Fuck it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Once you have so much knowledge and you gain so much knowledge, if you take that knowledge down the negative path, you will never return from it. It's like once you gain so much knowledge, it's like you can't go down that negative path. There has to be a positive path. Because there's only one place that the negative path will lead you to if you let it take, if you have enough knowledge, right? And that's destruction. And I know this. I know this from experience, and I'm saying this from a place of experience too.
I know, in truth and in fact, that I have the ability to do things that other people can't. We're from the simple thing from, you know, to be like a preacher, to mind control people, to more deeper things. I choose not to do it. You know, I can sit here, tell you what you want to hear, and you won't even realize the path that I'll put you on. I'll put you on a path that is fucking unforeseeable. But oh man, it's not the point. People don't get it. I don't want to tell you what to think. I'm trying to tell you that there is multiple ways of doing things, and there is another way, a correct way maybe of doing things.
Yeah, I don't want to either, but if that's the only way to get them to do it, then hell yeah, just give me the reins and let me help control what you think. But that's not my intention either. I'm not setting out to do that. It's the only way to get them to consider some of it. I mean, damn.
Well, sometimes you need to pull a shifty on them because, you know, how else? But, you know, some of them are just like solid. Like you can't, like they're just, I can't even compare them to a rock because that will be denigrating a rock. I don't know how to put them. They just, as soon as you give them any information, that's all you hear. It's like, oh man, you have to do a Joe Biden. Come on, man.
I think that, okay, they can't replicate it. They've been trying to. They can't replicate the power of the mind of men. They've tried to. They, like, the square wave is that's what they get digitally. So if this is why I think that they want to have technology where they can literally just leave your mind intact where it's at and just control it from there. Right? They don't want. I mean, if they can control it, look. If you can take a physical spoon, and I'm inclined to believe that a person can. Otherwise, the research center would not still be there. There would be something refuting it. I can't find anything refuting it. And there's like these people, when they talk about doing it, they talk about it as if it's just like going to have a cup of coffee, that it's so common for them and it's so well known amongst these group of people that are privy to this knowledge, right? That you can just bend a spoon with your mind. And that's just like child's play. So understanding the vibratory physics, it's the creation of things and it's also the destruction of things. Like this is where we need to be. This is what we need to be. If I could control like 100 different people's minds at one time, I would put it on this and I would focus it on this. I would love to get a small handful of us together to where we're all focusing on this and we're trying to actually, harness some of this energy to be able to accomplish some of these things that are like child's play and they're like going and having a cup of coffee. It's like second nature just to some people. Very few select people that are privy to the knowledge and understand it, which is almost, I mean, it's so small of a number that they're like almost non-existent.
You're willing to do it. I'm willing to do it because I've posited this to a few people because I know that it works. I don't need to believe it. I know that it works. They've even done like simple, small experiments that did it in America. I'm not sure when it was, in the 70s, 80s, whatever. A group of hippies sat down in front of the Washington, in front of the White House, whatever, or near the White House, wherever the fuck it was, and just meditated. And then for that month, crime rate dropped 70% magically, just because there was 10,000 or whatever people there, that were hippies and lovey-dovey people, whatever. Go science that. Go motherfucker cut that down and look at it under a microscope and do whatever dumb shit you think it is. Or go into your book and find that where it says that. Like, come on, fuck it, man. I know it can be done. It's a state of being. If you think you are a meat suit, then you can't be helped. If you think you are a name, you cannot be helped. If you think that a book has everything inside of it, then you can't be helped, because in the book it tells you to look inside. Everything is inside.
Right. And when you think about so all along my years of coming to the knowledge of different truths and understanding different things, I always end up, this same question keeps coming up. Okay, well, what's their next move? What's their end game? What are they trying to achieve? What's their purpose? Why? All these questions, because you want to anticipate their next moves, because you want to prepare and you want to defend yourself. And this is the line of thinking that you have all along the way. And over the years, it's been a reoccurring thing. Like, and I used to think it would be to overpower and overcome the people, because there's just too many people. And I think there's also something to this, the mind energy and the power of the mind, where they want to control the minds of men so much. But I think there's also something to this number that they have, like on the Georgia Guidestones, over 500 million. Like, if the number exceeds that, and the people, they're wanting to sever the connection to the Creator. So if they remove the Creator from the minds of men, and then they replace the thought of the Creator from the minds of men with lies and with a false reality, but everybody is doing it as second nature and they're not thinking about it, it's bound to manifest something for them. And I think that it is, and this is where the battle is. If there could be more people focused on And I'm saying on the creator, as the creator is, not as some false god that someone's created in their religion, right? That's used for some control mechanism, but just focus and think about and have the creator on their mind and be focused on truth and on love. And if there could be enough people this mindset, this is why I believe that the feasts and stuff were important. This is why I believe, and I don't know anything about the feast. And when I say that, let me say, I guess I need to say this too. I don't even know the different feasts. I don't know what they are. I don't know when they start. I don't know how you're supposed to honor them. I don't know. But I do know that there's been like that there's a reason, and I believe that the reason probably falls in this realm, in in this spirit, like to where you're guaranteed if people are following this, then they're guaranteed at certain times simultaneously together in unison, whether they even are aware of it or not, coming together with the creator on their mind, right? And so the more people that you have focused with their mind focused on one thing, then the more energy you can draw from that, the more and I think that's what they're wanting to sever with the creator. They don't want people to be able, because if we think of ourselves as antennas, if we think of ourselves as what we are, like we're nodes, right? We're nodes, we're energetic nodes, we're antennas. If we're going to draw from an energy, we have to resonate with it. And the only way you can resonate with it is to have it on your mind. If your mind is what controls what you resonate with and what you don't resonate with, then it would make sense that they would want to sever the connection to the creator and replace that with a false, and it's like so important that I cannot, it's like I trip over my own words. I stutter and stumble over my own words trying to explain the importance of it.
That's when you know you're on the right path, because you've realized with me, I do it. I'm well spoken. When you hear me start to stutter, that means I'm trying to elaborate on something that cannot be elaborated on. And I'm trying to do my best attempt on it. And I start to stutter. Because what you're saying is, I agree with it, or I just propound it like you. I magnify that. Like, that's why I don't do the who is the creator, do what is the creator. Like, I can't. How do you describe something that is indescribable, not describable? Like, it's the dumbest thing. You're asking me to give you a definition or a description of something that your puny brain cannot bother, that you've read from a book. You are mentally stagnant. You're a fuckwit. That's just all I can say. But then you're trying to make me box in the creator to give him limitations. Like, he's this and he's that. Like, it is what it is. He's what it is, or she's what she is. Like, you don't have a clue. Like, the fuck. Oh man, yeah, I'm starting to get.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're having the same trouble that I have, because this thing this knowledge that you have within you, right? You know the understanding that you have, and you want to put it forth so other people can receive it the way that you have it. And then the more you try to, it's like it seems like the further away from them grasping the understanding that you're getting. That's how it feels and that's how it appears. But that may not. That's from our perspective. It may not be how it's being received. So sometimes you just kind of got to put it out there and just let it be received, and then wait for feedback, I guess.
People are receiving. I've been told in a roundabout way that apparently when I used to talk, people liked it, and they're asking, like, I learned this and da, which is, to me, it's the biggest gift I can give to somebody. I've never tried to hurt anybody. or give them ill information. And when I tell them, like, look inside, like, what people think, oh, he's not, he's got knowledge. You can have the same thing. Just look inside and stop trying to box everything in that is spiritual, metaphysical, and give it a description, because you take the energy away from it. Yeah. The only thing I can say when I say this is love, with no conditions. Soon as you put a condition on it, you invalidate it. It's not what it's meant to be. It's like, truth, yeah, I'm going to marry you, but, you need to wash my feet every day, and if you don't do this and don't do that, then, it doesn't work like that, man. You either, it is or it's not. Stop. Oh, fuck it.
I know. I know. I get you. You're in an easy room right now, so you can kind of relax, because most of them in here, well, all the ones that I see in here are intelligent. And they can grasp what you're saying. You just kind of maybe just be a little bit more relaxed with it. You don't have to be so stressed right now, because I get it though. That's what I'm talking about. What you're feeling and what you're experiencing right now is exactly what I'm talking about. It's like when you're trying to explain it to, like, where do you even start? It's like you have to get that the people have to be at least half woke, right? They have to be at least half woke to even have their mind prepared to receive anything like that. But I think that if we could understand it well enough to maybe, I don't know, maybe demonstrate it for people. If we could get to where we could bend spoons with our mind, that would be so cool, because then we could just like say, hey, look, you want to do this, then you're going to have to understand this, and you got to let this go, man. And then it's like when they see some physical manifestation of it, then maybe they'd be like, well, hey, they're on to something, because they just fucking bend a spoon with their mind. It's like, I don't know. I should really dig deeper into
I get you.
this.
It's kind of like, so the spoon is there for the spoon to.
Spoon's not really there. Neither are you.
Yeah, that's correct. But if you want to just say the bending of the spoon is the whole point of, if the physical object is there, yeah, and you're concentrating on it, and everything else is physical, then everything is so-called physical. So then you need to drop yourself out of the equation and everything else, and then the spoon so-called dissolves, or will start to go blip, and it'll go into like a spaghetti thing, or whatever you want to call it, or just go floppy.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked into that. Is that how it works?
Well, that's the best way I can put it at the moment into words. It's like carving, like, just say you want to do a statue. You take chunks out of it to shape the statue. You know what I mean? You remove stuff. You keep on removing stuff till you get that. And same with that thing that you want to interact with. You have to be it's going to sound dumb, but you have to be at one with the spoon. Not that you want to be at one with the spoon, but to demonstrate that, you need to be you and that. The two things coming together. So you being aligned, mind, brain, heart, mind, and spirit, whatever you want to call it, and
to be
just
sympathetic.
Yeah.
To be as one.
Yeah, exactly. Like, sure, you've been like, you've seen somebody and you're like, oh, be for a split second, like, that dude is beautiful, woman or whatever, and you're like, ugh. And there's a reaction then. It's just like, that's the best way I can put it, or you get really, really excited about something, but this is just on a more intense level where that feeling gets pushed apart, everything else gets sort of like split. You knock everything off, you chisel it off, and it's just it ends up being you and the spoon, and then you are gone, and you're just observing the spoon. and then you're just the observer, and then there's nothing. Then it just should flop like a spaghetti.
Hey, there's Chris. So I have Chris and Josh. It's two of them. I probably missed Battle Mod. I haven't seen Cyrus around either in a while.
Busy working.
If anybody that's listening is wondering what video we're well, it's not just a video, but the Del Pond breaks down the physics of it pretty good. If you scroll up to the Del Pond vibratory physics video, I think I put it in this one. It's also it's always in the electricity text chat, so you can always go through there and find it. But yeah, this confirms, this supports, this reiterates, this coincides with, correlates with, the idea that where two or more are gathered in a name, in a spirit, with the purpose, with a whatever, it's like that there's power in that. Right, and then this supports that. So, I mean, it's like all along the way, it's like you can see these consistencies where, okay, well, this thing right here, this idea right here is supported by this, and it's supported by this, and these are known things to happen. These are known physics, right? And then you go a little bit further along, and then you find, another proven mechanistic way that, science has understood something. So, and then you're like, well, this also supports this. See, this is how the pieces are coming together. And it's another reason for, it just furthers along the understanding that there needs to be, like, to walk and have the things that are of truth in your mind, like the importance of it. I don't know. I'm getting back to that point again, Iggs, where I'm to that point to where, like, okay, I'm trying to explain something, and it's like at this point, if they don't have it at this point, they're not going to get it. So now I'm searching for other ways. This is where I need to just like relax and realize that they're either going to get it or they don't. So, and most of the people in here probably do. So.
I keep on saying, I lead them to the word. I just tell them to look up the word spire, because everybody uses the word, but nobody has that effing clue what it means. Perspire, inspire, and all the rest of it. Just look up that word, and if that does, fuck it. When people read it,
I mean,
it's a real. How do I say it? When you look at it, it should grasp you. If it doesn't grasp you, then yeah, I don't know what can. Because people like to read things for some reason. It either attaches it.
What is it? What spire means, like in Webster's dictionary, or is it?
Look at the etymology. So it's a Latin word, spire.
Spear, as in SPEAR.
So, like, you would spell inspire, but without the IN, because IN is the negation of the fact, like insane, and all the rest of it. You can't put IN in front of it's a negative connotation.
Inspire.
Yeah.
Did I say that loud? Sorry, I didn't realise I didn't.
No, you're all right. You're okay, bro. All good, bro. Yeah, so just so you put spire and look at the etymology, it's Latin.
Get up when I get finished petting my kitty. She's climbed up in my lap and she's got me tied down for the moment.
Is she purring? Is she letting off a vibration? That's what they do. People don't get it. That's why cats are so in the occult world. People don't get it. Like, why would you? What's the point of this of this thing that people love. What is it vibe? I go, it just does it for the fuck of it. Whatever.
Cats are good to have around. If someone starts trying to drill through your floor or your wall to run a camera, the cats are going to be the first person that's going to notice it, and you better pay attention to your cats. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Cats can detect if somebody's getting sick better than a dog. If somebody's going to get cancer or not, and they
Can
can
smell
actually,
it.
they can actually even absorb it because one of our both my parents have it, but cancer. But one of our cats actually passed away. When my dad was the sickest. This makes me sad. I want to cry on the live stream, but I used to go on my dad's lap and just sit there. My dad like you like the cat and whatnot, but he didn't go out of his way to pet it. But as soon as he got sick, like it didn't move from him. Start having a look on fucking live stream. He would go on, and he'd end up getting cancer itself. But my dad's alive, so yeah. People don't get it. People like to hand wave stuff, and just because you don't understand something, doesn't give you the right to hand wave it and to name it whatever. Sorry, I kind of went off on a bit of a tangent.
No, you're good. No reason to be sorry. They're in a new place. It took them some time to get adjusted. It's like I've got 3, right? So, and they're in a new place. And when you get in a new place, it's like for the first 2 or 3 days, and it's the funniest thing ever. It's like I laugh my ass off at these cats. They're walking around each other, and it's like when they get near one another, they're yelling at each other. These cats are literally like they're talking. They're yelling at each other. They're walking around going meow, meow, and they're just like each one of them is yelling and talking. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with these cats? And I know that they're adjusting, but they're so freaking loud. They're getting on my nerves. It's like they can't walk through the house without they can't walk through the house without making sure that everyone around knows that they're coming. I mean, I'm talking like they yell as if they're about to squall, but they don't squall. They're just talking in a yell. Like if you've never heard a cat do that, it's the strangest thing ever. Went on for 2 or 3 days, and then finally they settled down. I guess when they got adjusted, they each found their own new perch and their own new place. And then after being here for a few days, I finally let them outside earlier today. So they got to go outside earlier and they didn't take off. So, and then now they're just chill and relaxed and okay. It's just like one of those, I don't know, it's those stages of adjustment that they go through. And I just got through dealing with it with them. And it's the craziest, funniest shit ever.
I love cats, to be honest. I like dogs too, mostly if they're like huskies and stuff. But cats, I love cats. Like, I think in America you can have like tigers and shit, can't you?
People do. I mean, I don't know what you have to go through to have them,
Mate,
but people
I'm waiting
do have them.
go to America. I'm waiting to go to America first thing. If I'm going to do something, I'm buying a tiger. I'll walk down the street with it on a leash. I'd like to see some stupid ass dude with a dog come up to me.
Well, if
But
you
you
ever
can.
do, you need to look me up. I'd love to meet you and your wife. I would feel honored to meet you guys.
I'm not married, but yeah. I'd come say
I
hello.
thought you were. I thought you were
No,
married and had children,
nope.
like a fresh new young one. A fresh new, not an old stale child. You've got one of those fresh new young children.
A fresh new. I like the way you said that. No, I've got nephews like my cousins' children. They're a bit older now, but I was married. Didn't work out. It's kind of hard to live with somebody when they're trying to beat you up, and you're like 150 kilos. It's kind of funny, but annoying at the same time. So you
Oh,
have
come
to live
on
on.
over. Come on over, Eggs. I won't beat you up.
Thank you. Some people just being kind to me. Thank God. I thought, like, that's
Unless
like
you want me
the.
to. I'm just playing.
I thought that was like standard operating procedure nowadays. You get married and the woman just beats you up.
Standard operating procedure. It's like in the abstract of the handbook.
Yeah. The SOP. When you go into like a work for a company, they tell you, the SOP is blah 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 blah. You do it like this. So you get married and then the woman just beats you up.
Yeah, screw that.
Yeah.
Screw that. Let's see.
And it's funny. I'm not a small dude too. Like yeah. It's
Really, honestly, though, I think about it a lot. I'm like, if only I could go back in time and know the things then that I know now. But if I did, I wouldn't have my children because I would have never been with the guys I was with when I had my children. So there are some things that would change, and like I wouldn't change my children for nothing in the world. Everything else in life, it's like, then so what? Screw it. It's like I would love to change it. I don't care if I lose this experience, if I lose this part of my life. That's cool. As long as I can go back and apply this knowledge at this time, that would be awesome. But unfortunately, we can't do that.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Oh, man. I'll be back in just give me a minute. I just had a missed call from Anthony. I'll get him to come. I'll get him to jump on. Oh, there he is. I want
There
to
he
call him
is.
now.
Anthony.
Wait, Anthony. I'll give you a call back right now and then jump back on here. It's hilarious. I'll tell you when I come back. This is going to be funny.
Understanding this vibratory physics is important, and I believe that we could actually start testing it. Like there could be a hand. I've mentioned this before, but in a different sense. It was more in a spiritual sense, I guess, that I mentioned it. But it kind of runs along the lines of as if you'd have like a devotional group at church or whatever that gets together and they pray for certain things, and they'll have like a prayer meeting on an off church night or something like that. Well, it's akin to that, but not so much in a religious sense, just in a sense of, okay, well, if there's, and I guess it would need to be reasonable. See, I don't know. I'm trying to figure this stuff out as I go, trying to figure out a way to test it. So anyone that's got any suggestions, that'd be awesome too. I mean, because people, we could get together and we could focus on one thing, on the same thing, and until we start seeing a change, and then we could try it on something else. I just think we should test it more. We should test the power of the minds of men more, the mind energy. They're in agreement on certain things and meditate together on it and speak certain things and just do it continually and test it. We all do it individually on an individual basis, like with the spoon bending and stuff like that. But
Ladies and gentlemen, the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings.
In America, they watch you and they track your every move. They're even putting poison in your food. In America, the people are too blind to see the truth. But it's too late, and there's nothing we can do. In America, just watch your favorite show and watch the news, so they can pre-program you with your views. In America, get a job, obey the law, support the troops, and just get back, cause there's nothing we can do. This is the divided states of Illuminati land. People stumbling all over the place like zombies, man. Just like The Walking Dead, they got this country zombified. All your water's fluoridated, all your food is modified. You are what you eat, so I guess that means that you're a GMO. And you don't even know, but you're too blind to see it though. You have to be asleep to have the American dream. Just how they need it, cause your freedom was never a thing. The best kind of slaves are the slaves that don't know that they're slaves. Stuck in a daze and they behave how they're told to behave. Good little sheeple people, always happy, always gleeful. No revolting, no rebelling, no uprising, no upheaval. The ones that rule us wanna keep us all clueless and weak. It's not looking so good for humans, the future is bleak. You think you are unique, but really you're a replica, created by the false education that they gave you here. In America, they watch you and they track your every move. They're even putting poison in your food. In America, the people are too blind to see the truth. But it's too late, and there's nothing we can do. In America, just watch your favorite show and watch the news, so they can pre-program you with your views.
crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
We are conditioned every minute of every day, and being ignorant is just the American way. The national debt is a debt we can never repay, but if they say to pay your taxes, you better obey. Hypocritical kingdom of wicked criminals, using symbols and signals to fill your head with subliminals. When you watch TV, it's corroding your mind. When the 5G network goes online, there'll be nowhere to hide. Electromagnetic frequencies all around us so frequently. Nothing is what it seems to be. They deceive us so easily. No one even believe in me while they're meeting in secrecy. Have you seen the world recently? Never treating us decently. What happened to liberty and justice for all? Dictators free themselves, but we don't get nothing at all. I just want you to know the truth, so please don't shoot the messenger. It's a bitch, but this is how it is when you live in America. They watch you and they track your every move. They're even putting poison in your food. In America, the people are too blind to see the truth.